And we welcome you to a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, 27th day of February 2018. You have started your day the NCW Life Channel way. We have a way, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, folks. You don't know what goes on before the cameras roll in the morning, and maybe it's best that you don't.
The director's cut of this show is not available.
That's right.
I'm afraid. It is Tuesday, 27th day of February. I am Dan Koontz, your host for the next hour. The gentleman to my left, as you can see by the lower third, is our beloved news director, Steve Harry, who'll be hanging around for the next 20 minutes or so. Cat in control, Linda Hagland in the green room today, our brand new green room, which is working out fantabulous.
That is neat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we redid the green room, for those of you who don't know, in television parlance, the green room is the room where our guests who are waiting to appear on this show wait to appear on this show. And we didn't really have one. They kind of sat in the newsroom. Mm-hmm. So they used to sit in the control room, and that just didn't work out because Cat has to concentrate on the task at hand and yell in our ears. And so we started to put them in the newsroom, which is all well and good, but you are here and they're gathering and disseminating news and making calls, and it's not fair to you because you have a job to do. And
well, now
so
they have a nice, comfortable, warm little area they can sit and watch TV. And
yep.
Yeah. I think we need a static cam in there like they do on some of the morning shows.
That's not a bad idea. We can check in on the green room. And
coming up next.
That's right. Linda, wake up. You're on in 10 minutes. So a great show for today. The reason Linda Hagland is on is that tomorrow is the Wenatchee Downtown Association's annual appreciation dinner, which is being held tomorrow.
And we appreciate that, too.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So we'll talk all things downtown, but Linda coming up in the back half of the show. We'll preview Antioch girls and Cashmere girls are on the way to state. Spokane and Yakima, respectively. Eric Granstrom will be down in Yakima to cover the Cashmere girls. 3 victories away from a state championship.
Boy, it's looking good for them, too.
Yeah.
Kaylee Van Lith leading the way. She's really quite an athlete.
Remember, last year, the Cashmere girls were undefeated all the way to the state championship game, and they lost by 1 point. So this is a veteran team. They have a good chance of taking home the big trophy. That'll be our main topic in sports. Also, we have the obscure holiday of the day today, Today in History. Birthdays, everyone is entitled to Mike McNaughty's opinion. It's about dressing appropriately.
Ooh.
So, and Steve will have your headlines plus your weather forecast, which is interesting, to say the least.
You're talking about dressing appropriately, and it reminds me of an old thing my dad always used to say on my way to school each morning. He says, "You're not going to wear that, are you?" So Mike's probably going to share the same kind of an opinion.
Yeah, we'll find out together in about half an hour. Kat earlier today said the cameras aren't very good. Let's not take her word for it. Let's find out together, shall we?
Which camera is this one here?
Let's find out. No, we'd always look good. Courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet, we always begin with the Wenatchee Valley proper, the place we choose to call home. Thank you for moving up here, by the way, Steve.
I love it up here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Returning to my roots, you might say.
Yeah, because that was a surprise, right? You didn't really know you had roots here until you came here.
Until I moved up here.
Yeah, which is kind of neat. One of these days, if we have it 2.5 hours, Steve will tell you the story. It's pretty fascinating. So that's the Wenatchee Valley, batting lead off today. Next up, we see that is Leavenworth.
That's Leavenworth, looking down from Tumwater.
Beautiful view. Did you see that aerial shot that they did of Leavenworth that King 5 posted on their Facebook page? It was from an airplane. It was way up looking down on Leavenworth.
Oh, yes.
That was incredible.
Wasn't that amazing?
That was incredible. Not as good as this camera, of course. Good morning to the Bavarian village of Leavenworth, and I understand, Steve, coming up in a couple weeks, we're having some sort of festival of some kind up there.
Some kind of festival. I know last weekend was the final Holiday Light Festival.
Yeah, oh, was it? Yeah, okay, yeah. And I think Autumn Leaf Festival is next week, I think.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Let's go to camera. We're kidding, we love Leavenworth. Let's go to our next camera, find out where we're going here. That is, of course, Steve's summer home that you see in the front there. That's where Steve and Lynette likes to vacation every June and July. You love that rustic.
Adds new meaning to outhouse, doesn't it?
Steve likes the rustic lifestyle. He really does. So long as he's got cable TV, he's a happy camper. That's Monument.
And it's air cooled.
It is, yeah, air cooled. Yeah. Air cooled. That is Monument. That's beautiful Quincy. Opportunities unlimited out there. So tell me, how much did you pay for that place, Steve?
Too much.
Too much? A couple $100,000? Yeah, but it's got a great view.
Yeah, but it's appreciating.
Yeah. And camera, well, real estate, it's a great investment. Camera number 4. Is it 4 or 3? I've lost track already.
Oh, this is our favorite shot.
Billy Goat. Bah.
Looking down on the Columbia River with its with its connection with the Met House.
I remember when we first put that camera up and we showed it for the first time, we all went, wow. And you think, okay, the bling factors are going to eventually go away. It has not. If anything, it's gotten more intense. I can't wait to see that shot come summertime.
Well, it looks like the snow's sticking around too.
Yeah, well, it's higher elevation. They got more snow up in Pateros and the Brewster and Bridgeport area than they did down here. And of course, as you can see, the Alta Lake Golf Course is covered in snow.
Oh,
that's about the only sad thing you can say there. And do we gone through all the cameras? I've lost track already. This is the kind of day. Yep. Apparently, it's back to us. Oh well, you can change the channel now. I guess the Today Show might be on. Don't change the channel.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Let's do your weather forecast from the National Weather Service. Clouds on the increase today. Later on today, another beautiful day. We had lots of sunshine, Steve, and 42 yesterday, which was right on the mark. That's exactly what they predicted. Today's high 47, just about normal or normal high. On this date, February 27th, is 46 degrees, so just a little bit above that. Quite a bit of sunshine today. Clouds will be thickening up tonight. In fact, let's go ahead and look at Wednesday night through Friday. We're going to jump ahead to Wednesday. This is the pattern. There's a ginormous L over the Washington and Oregon coast, and it's bringing up moisture from the south, so it's warmer air. And that means for us, probably rain. Snow in the upper elevations, snow in the Idaho Panhandle, snow to the north, but for the Wenatchee Valley, mostly rain. That's our Wednesday night, Thursday morning forecast. As you can see, we're right at that little sliver where it could be a rain-snow mix Wednesday night and Thursday. Anything that we get Wednesday night and Thursday is not going to stick around at all. Little snow accumulation is expected.
Maybe a little bit of slick conditions for the Thursday morning commute.
Yeah, maybe. Thursday, whatever it comes and goes, is all going to be rain. In fact, we're looking at significant rain Thursday, which, by the way, is March 1st.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Coming in like a lion.
Coming in like a lion. So outside of that, there's nothing really spectacular out there. We're going to get rain Thursday and Thursday night, a couple of spittles of snow here and there. Anytime I can work the word spittle in, I'm happy. Not a bad looking weekend, Steve, especially Sunday, and I would take Monday off too.
Oh, why not?
That looks pretty good as well. So there's your forecast from the National Weather Service. Again, we can't rule out snow, but it's not going to accumulate.
But then it's good because we have the Winter Olympics coming
Winter
up
Special
this
Olympics.
weekend.
Yep,
Special
coming up
Olympics.
this weekend. Looking forward to that. Opening ceremonies Friday at the Town Toyota Center. Our very own Eric Granstrom will be the master of ceremonies.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and they've changed the format a little bit this year. So they're going to do some different things this year for the opening ceremonies at the Town Toyota Center. Speaking of that, tomorrow's guest, Pat Norland from the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce. He's the sports marketing guy here. He'll be on the show to talk about the economic impact of the Washington State Special Olympics on our valley and all the other cool stuff.
And it's profound.
It's
I
big.
mean, I don't think there's a hotel room you can find for the weekend because with the athletes, their families and supporters and all the people with Special Olympics, I mean, they fill up the valley.
And and no volunteers, no Special Olympics.
That's right.
Volunteers make 1,000 lunches and things like that. If it's not for the volunteers, Carol will tell you that. Carol Operation doesn't happen.
Right.
Just doesn't happen. Let's do your pass report, shall we? From the Washington State Department of Transportation, a live shot from I-90. It looks like that. Traction tires are advised on Snoqualmie. By the way, I-90 westbound, that's us. Westbound is closed at milepost 106 near Ellensburg because of a blocking collision. But there is an alternate. You can get around it. You can take US 97 to State Route 970. I'd wait, half hour or so to get that cleared out. Traction tires advised on I-90. It is snowing on Snoqualmie Pass. Traction tires advised on Stevens. Let's go to Stevens. There you go. Traction tires advised. Compact snow and ice on the roadway. Snowing right now on US 2. And on Blewett Pass, no advisories, no restrictions. Roadways bare and wet. Frost and ice in places. They're getting some sunshine up at the summit of Blewett Pass. 3 to 5 inches of snow today, Steve. Most of it in the afternoon. Tonight for the mountain passes, 1 to 3 inches. Wednesday, couple of inches. Wednesday night, couple of inches. Thursday, couple of inches. So snow off and on, no significant snowfall in the mountain passes, just enough to keep the snow plows busy. I admire those guys, all the snowplow drivers.
Yeah.
Not an easy job.
And the groomers, too. They
Yeah.
have a little more fun.
Yeah. I think the groomers have more fun than the snowplow drivers, but that is not easy work.
No, it's not.
To be a snowplow driver, either for the DOT or for the county road crews or for the city road crews. It can be dicey work.
Yeah,
Long
and
hours.
they were out early applying the de-icer, so that's always good.
9 minutes after the hour. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Panel. Senate Bill 6617 has stirred up quite a hornet's nest, hasn't it?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
And it's all about public disclosure law. We'll tell you more about that coming up on our news.
And we highly encourage you to watch this morning's edition of the
Yes.
12th District. John Weiss will be your host. He'll delve more into Senate Bill 6617 and what happened over the weekend and what the governor may or may not do. This bill goes into effect. It becomes law Thursday.
Yeah,
so
it's retroactive.
It's going to be a fascinating conversation. So the 12th District comes your way right after this program at 8 o'clock this morning. Going to take a quick 1-minute break. The gentleman to my left will fill your head full of the information you need to know to start your Tuesday on this Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Why live your life in the dark? At Schmidt Electric, we're one of the oldest and most respected companies in the Pacific Northwest.
Founded by my father in 1960, we have grown from 2 employees to 130.
From small commercial businesses to heavy industrial companies, we employ some of the most respected contractors. We're also a proud member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers for over 50 years. Call us at Schmidt Electric today.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
And we're opening up this morning with this shot of the east side of the Otabashan Bridge at the intersection of Highway 28, Sunset Highway, and Highway 2. As you can see there, earlier this morning in the 6 o'clock hour, we had a 2-vehicle accident that brought out the emergency crews, and the accident there obviously caused a backup in traffic there for a few minutes this morning, but we're told now by Rivercom that that accident has now been cleared from the scene and traffic is now moving smoothly through the area. But again, thanks to our Sky-Fi cameras to give us a good view of that accident earlier today. We'll be getting a report on that if there were some injuries. Hopefully not, but again, we do expect to get more information on that a little later this morning. Also today in the news, Leon Leidy hopes to trade in his East Wenatchee Police badge for a Douglas County Sheriff's badge. Leidy has formally announced his candidacy for the Sheriff's Office. Former Washington State Patrol trooper brings over 30 years of law enforcement experience to the job. Leidy sat down with me to discuss a range of issues yesterday, including his thoughts on how to deal with school violence.
Well, I feel that we need to sit down and have some serious talks with our partners at East Wenatchee, the State Patrol, Wenatchee, Chelan County. We need to sit down at a table and talk about what we can do to make the schools safer. We need to protect our schools, protect our students, our teachers, and we have to have joint training together so we know it's one model. You know, we can't do it ourselves. If we all get together, we have one model to go into a school, and if a situation arises, everybody knows what they're doing. And so you get people together, you get all your stakeholders, your business leaders, the neighbors from the schools, get together with them and tell them some of the things that we're going to have to do, what might happen if an active shooter is going on, where we might take the students and those things. We can't share everything, right. But getting business folks, the law enforcement, and I would like, you know, there's a lot of options, whether you hire retired law enforcement officers to be put into these schools, you hire security, armed security. I mean, you have to sit down and talk with everybody. Everybody's got an idea. We put it all together, we come up with the best ideas we can.
Now, Leidy is the second candidate to announce his candidacy. Douglas County Undersheriff Kevin Morris is also running as a Republican. You can watch Leidy's interview in its entirety on our website at ncwlife.com. Also, students in Washington State have launched a social media campaign to address gun violence in schools following the shooting at a South Florida high school. Campaign Will My School Be Next focuses on the state legislature and calls for an effort to address gun violence in schools. Undergrad student Gracie Anderson started the campaign after she felt desensitized to gun violence in schools and angry with the lack of action.
Instead of cycling back into my kind of normal grieving and sadness and fear for myself, I kind of just became angry and frustrated that adults hadn't taken any action to prevent the tragedy from happening. And so I decided to start the Will We Be Next, or Will My School Be Next campaign. And so the idea is, part of it's a social media campaign. You hold up a sign that says, "Will blank be next?" You fill in the blank with either the name of your school or someone who's close to you that is in schools. Post it on social media with the hashtag Will We Be Next and tag us at Will We Be Next on any platform. And this really came from a place of concern, and I think I'm just really sick of the politics of it all. And so I want the Washington State Legislature to put politics aside and make a difference in our schools.
Anderson says the group aims to encourage civic engagement in young people and also hopes to gain the attention of lawmakers.
And we are also putting together a task force of students to come together, do research, collect data, analyze previous research, and see if we can find what the best policy solutions are. So we're going to analyze things. We're going to analyze things like armed guards in school. We're going to analyze things like military-grade weapons bans, and we're going to see what could actually make a difference and give that to the state legislature. I just learned that in Washington State, you can run for state-level office when you turn 18 years old. And so what I can tell you is in 5 years, I imagine that these same students who are leading this fight, all of us kids who are demanding that change happens, I can see us taking those positions, running for office, making a difference that way. I can tell you that as soon as we're all eligible to vote, because so many of these kids are under 18 years old. I just voted in my first election. We're going to be able to make concrete policy change because we're going to be electing officials that actually represent us.
And again, thanks to Caitlin Hittersheet for producing that story. Also in the news, a letter to Douglas County Commissioners last week. Douglas County District Court Judge Judith McCauley announcing she's retiring from the bench effective in May. The 72-year-old judge has worked for Douglas County for 38 years, 23 years as a district court judge, 15 years as the county's first woman prosecutor. McCauley's 4-year term was due to end on December 31st, and her retirement in May allows the county commissioners now some time to appoint an interim judge until the November election. Any new judge elected in November would take office immediately under a short and full-term clause in state elections law. Now, the election winner would then commence a regular 4-year term starting January 1st. McCauley is the third judge to retire this year in the Wenatchee Valley, following the footsteps of Chelan County Superior Court judges Alicia Nakata and T.W. Chip Small. Communities across the state seeking funding for important clean water projects are about to get a significant boost from the Washington Department of Ecology. In a recent press release, the Department of Ecology announced that it's awarding $220 million in grants and loans to help pay for high-priority clean water projects. Chelan County PUD will receive just over $2 million for the Peshastin-Dryden Wastewater Improvement Project. Chelan County Public Works Department was awarded $200,000 for the Squilchuck Creek Basin Storm Water Retrofit. City of Wenatchee will receive $70,000 for the North Wenatchee stormwater removal and water quality improvements, and another $10,000 for the Peachy Street Basin Water Quality Retrofit. Other area projects that will receive DOE grants are the Okanagan Conservation District, receiving $250,000, and a sewer replacement project in Soap Lake gets $68,000. Funding for the projects was able to move forward once the 2017 capital budget passed earlier this year. Also, a Washington cattlemen's group is howling mad, apparently, over being left out of grant money to ease conflicts between wolves and cattle. Here's more on that story.
4 ranches and a new nonprofit have been awarded a total of $276,000 in state funds to protect cattle in Washington's wolf country with range riders and fences. Meanwhile, a proposal by the cattle producers of Washington, whose members include ranchers most affected by wolves, have been denied funding. The cattlemen propose collaborating with state and local officials to collar more wolves, more closely monitor packs, and more efficiently haze predators. 2 sheriffs and county commissioners in all 4 Northeast Washington counties endorsed the plan. The application, however, was opposed by the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Fish and Wildlife said the cattlemen's proposal wasn't in line with lawmakers' direction to use the money for community-based, non-lethal measures. Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife did not have objections to funding the nonprofit group or individual ranches. The State Department of Agriculture will distribute the grants based on the recommendations of a 4-member panel representing conservation districts in Ferry, Okanagan, Stevens, and Pend Oreille counties. Fish and Wildlife already spends about $400,000 per year to help ranchers pay for non-lethal measures to guard livestock from wolves. Grant Olson, NCW Life News.
Also this morning, Todd Fryover has been named a 2018 Apple Citizen of the Year. Apple Blossom Festival's royalty, Queen Greta Wiersma, Princesses Jessica Murray and Sophie Costilla, along with festival administrator Darcy Christopherson, surprised Todd with that award at his birthday party at his home. Fryover is a native of Wenatchee, having worked for several leading apple packing companies over the past 30 years. As president of the Washington State Apple Commission, Fryover has overseen the mass marketing of the state's signature fruit since 2008. He commented on that in an interview on NCW Live Channel.
I think most of it is apples are so good and apples from Washington State are so good. We've really been blessed. I mean, when you look at, the soil content, the water, the sunshine, the low pest issues that we have here, we have the ability to grow a lot of good quality apples. That's always number one. The second issue that's out there that's probably the most consistent is the health message. An apple is good for you, rather than some snack or processed product. It's a health issue. So those are the things that we focus on in the international marketplace because we are one of several in a category, so we try to differentiate ourselves.
Todd Fryover, Apple Citizen of the Year. The award began back in 1981 to honor the roots of the festival and the leaders that make this the apple capital of the world. One final note here, State House Representatives Kerry Condata and Mike Steele are defending their votes in favor of a bill that exempts legislators from parts of the state's Public Records Act. It's a voter-approved law. The House and Senate overwhelmingly approved the measure last Friday without debate or a public hearing. It was drafted in response to an appeal of a recent court ruling in Thurston County that required the release of lawmakers' private emails. Condata and Steele say the courts forced their hand.
I understand the value of transparency and what it means to the community and the citizenry. It makes sense to me. Was the process one I would have followed? No. Was it necessary? Yes, because we were being inundated with violations and complaints that were mounting, and getting access to some highly sensitive data would have put our constituents at risk, and we didn't think that was appropriate, and we knew we needed to make some quick action.
Now, SB 6617, highly controversial. It'll make some legislative records public, such as lawmakers' calendars and their email exchanges with registered lobbyists. But their private cell phones and emails off limits under the new law. It also prevents people from challenging the record law in court. So obviously it's spawned a lot of interest with news organizations across the state.
The fourth estate has chimed in big time this morning. Unprecedented. This has never happened before. The Seattle Times, for the first time in 110 years, put an editorial on the front page of the
Wenatchee
paper.
World has followed suit?
Wenatchee World is right here. This morning's Wenatchee World. Governor Inslee vetoed this bad bill. Also, front page editorials, the Tacoma News Tribune, the Spokesman Review, the Olympian, the Columbian, which is out of Vancouver, the Bellingham Herald, the Tri-City Herald, the Yakima Herald Republic, the Walla Walla Union Bulletin, the Wenatchee World, the Seattle Times, all of them front page editorials. This has never happened before.
They were all parties to that suit in Thurston County, so it's really kicked up some waves here in the state, and you can learn more about it in its entirety later this morning, 8 o'clock, right after Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the 12th District.
It also airs at 5:30. If you can't watch the 8 o'clock show this morning, you can watch it at 5:30 tonight, right after the news, with Grant Olson, which airs at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, and also on demand at ncwlife.com. You can watch the show on demand on your mobile device or on your computer or your tablet. 4:30-ish around there, once we get it done and rendered and all that stuff, and it's available for you to check it out. We always encourage you, of course, to watch it on television, or as we like to say in the business, TV. But this is fascinating to me. All of these newspapers, almost every major metropolitan daily newspaper in the state of Washington, have all chimed in together on this. This has never happened before. Very
The
interesting.
legislators say it's all on the up and up, and that they feel that in actuality that they've actually improved transparency. So anyway, you be the judge.
Governor Inslee has until midnight tomorrow to veto the bill, but it's a veto-proof majority.
Yeah.
If everybody falls into line, as did in the original vote last Friday, they can override the governor's veto. You can also not act on it at all, and it would become law, because it becomes law midnight tomorrow night.
I think eventually it will make it to the state Supreme Court.
Would not be surprised at all. 25 minutes after the hour. How to get a hold of us? Any number of ways. You can call us, you can email us, you can Facebook message us, you can write us a letter.
That's right. There's any number of ways you can contact us about news stories and breaking news, of course. Call us on the hotline. 888-NCWL, that's 888-6295, the NCW Life Breaking News Hotline.
If you call it right now, you'll get my mellifluous voice because Steve is here and he can't answer the phone. We'll take a quick 1-minute break. When we come back, sports previewing the state tournament for the Antioch girls and the Cashmere girls begins tomorrow and Thursday. Those when we come back, and a whole bunch more. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, 27th day of February. It's a Tuesday on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on LocalTel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life channel the Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, Too Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series, only on the NCW Life channel.
High clouds, 21 degrees outside of our studios. Forecast high today of about 46 with quite a bit of sunshine. Let's do sports. The Antioch girls 21-2 on the year. They're one of 12 teams that are still standing in the state 1B tournament, which begins tomorrow in Spokane. They'll take on Mount Rainier Lutheran 9 o'clock at the Spokane Veterans Memorial Arena. The Tigers are on an incredible roll. In their last 15 consecutive games, they have outscored their opponents by an average of 48 points a game. Now, a lot of that credit goes to senior Natalia Paz and junior Faith Southard, but Coach Lori Pipkin says she's had a couple of surprises step up this year.
Hema Delgado and Mika Sanford have really been have improved so much from last year to this year, you know, and they both have surprised me more than I was expecting. I mean, I knew that they wouldn't be better than they were last year or improve, but their basketball skills have greatly increased over the course of the year. And Hema's been another one that has been, we say she got new ears this year because she's been hearing everything and she knows what's going on and she's been paying attention and stuff like that. So yeah, those two have been my biggest surprises, I feel like.
Antioch's opponent Wednesday, Mount Rainier Lutheran, finished first in the SeaTac West 1B League. They come into Wednesday night's game with a 21-4 record overall, but two of their last four losses have come in the last couple of games. They lost 62-44 to Nia Bay in the 1B Tri-District Tournament, and they also lost 72-17 to Colton Saturday at Regionals. Pipkin says she likes the matchup, and she likes the chances of Antioch advancing past tomorrow night.
You know, none of these girls have made it this far, you know, and we feel like, you know, we could have a good matchup on Wednesday. So, you know, we kind of think we know who we'll get. But yeah, they're excited and I'm excited, and I just want them for this to be able to experience, you know, state, and I would really love to get that first win so that they could experience what I feel state is, which is more than just one game in Spokane.
Again, 9 o'clock tomorrow, and as soon as we get the results, we will get that up on our Facebook page, and we'll have more on Thursday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. So that's the Antioch girls. Meanwhile, another local team preparing for state, and that, of course, is Kashmir. The girls basketball team advanced to the quarterfinals with a Saturday's win over Lakeside. As the brackets were set Saturday night and the other regional games decided, Bulldog coach Brett Darnell says he has a hope of what the other teams are thinking.
You know, we do some things where we try to take away one or two things from a team after watching film, but my biggest thing is I hope teams are worrying about us and how they're going to guard us and how they're going to attack us, and that takes practice time away from what they do well. And if you can take practice time away from them and what they do well because they're worrying about you, well, you've kind of already won the battle a little bit. So we got a philosophy of how we want to do things offensively and defensively, and hopefully they're worrying about us a little bit.
Kashmir 21-1 on the season. They head into the State 1A tournament in Yakima with the second-ranked RPI. Only Linden Christian is ranked ahead of them. Darnell says whether you play teams early or late in the tournament, you have to play your best to be the best.
You know, obviously there's some teams at the top of the bracket. Linden Christian, undefeated, ranked #1. Zilla, really good and up there. It's kind of like, do you want a great team early or do you want them late? I think the biggest thing is over there is just worry about who's in front of you and survive in advance. You know, you're never going to have to play them again this year. You just got to beat them and move on. So we don't get too caught up in that as far as, you know, we don't want to play this team, we don't want to play that team. Our hope is they look at their bracket and say, where's Kashmir at? Because we don't want to play them.
Kashmir will face the winner of tomorrow's game between Noosac Valley and Meridian. That game, the Kashmir game, Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Well, the Mariners aren't even a week into spring training, and the injury bug has already hit them hard. Felix Hernandez, the latest victim. He was hit on the right arm by a line drive off the bat of Chicago's Victor Caratini in the top of the second inning.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a line drive off of Felix's right arm. Oh, my goodness. The ball to the front side of the mound. Felix is hurt. Up with the ball, the third baseman, Motter, and Felix is down to his knees between the mound and the first base bag. Here comes trainer Rob Nodine out of the dugout. Caratini hit a rocket right back to Felix. Felix will be helped off the field with Nodine. He's going to walk off the field. But he took one wicked line drive off his right arm. Caratini comes over, gives Felix a pat on the back as he walks on by Caratini.
Not surprisingly, Hernandez had x-rays on his right arm. No broken bones, we're told. He is listed as day-to-day. Of course, we all are. Seattle is working this spring without first baseman Ryan Healy. He had hand surgery. Outfielder Mitch Hannigan, I should say, is out for a couple of days. He's got a sore hand. First baseman Daniel Volenbach is on a walking boot because he's got a bad foot, and pitcher Esmaro Ramirez is out for a couple of weeks because he has tightness in his right shoulder. By the way, on the field, the Mariners and the Cubs played to a 9-9 tie on Monday, despite Seattle's third baseman had a grand slam home run. The Mariners are 2-1-1 in Cactus League play so far. They have split squad games today. They'll take on San Diego and Kansas City, and that is sports at 33 minutes after the hour in this Tuesday edition of Wake Up in Angie Valley. 27th day of February, the obscure holiday of the day today. It's International Polar Bear Day today. Fun facts about polar bears. First of all, polar bears are the biggest bear that there are. They're the biggest bears that are out there in their particular family tree. Even though they look white, a polar bear's fur is made of clear hollow tubes filled with air. That's how they stay warm. A group of polar bears is known as a sleuth. Didn't know that. Unlike the black and brown bears, polar bears do not hibernate. However, they sleep 20 hours a day. So kind of makes up for that. Polar bears have no natural enemies, except probably us. And a polar bear's nose is so powerful it can smell a seal on the ice 20 miles away. And most experts agree that polar bears, all polar bears, are left-handed for whatever reason. International Polar Bear Day today. Celebrate it with a polar bear that you love. Let's do Today in History. There's just one item that caught my eye. It's yet another amendment to the Constitution. This one, the 22nd Amendment, which went into effect on this date in 1951, 67 years ago today. The 22nd Amendment went into effect. That limits the president to 2 full terms. That means the president can only be elected twice. Congress proposed the amendment on March 21st, 1947. They had 7 years to ratify it. They did it in about 4.5 years. Minnesota put them over the top. Minnesota ratified the 22nd Amendment on February 21st, 1951. From that point forward, it went into effect. It did not affect the sitting president, Harry Truman. He could have ran again in 1952. He chose not to. By the way, Washington State has never taken action on the 22nd Amendment. They don't really have to. It's in effect when it happened on the state in 1951. And finally, birthdays, both of them historic. Maybe my favorite Supreme Court justice of all time, I'm a Supreme Court justice buff, Hugo Lafayette Black, Senior Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court from 1946 to 1971 for 25 years. That record will never be broken. Two of my favorite quotes from Justice Black. I cannot consider the Bill of Rights to be an outworn 18th century straitjacket. And of course, he was an absolutist when it came to the First Amendment. He said, and I'm quoting now, Congress shall make no law, that's in the First Amendment, meaning Congress shall make no law. He didn't believe in any of that clear and present danger stuff, bad tendency, reasonableness, balancing the First Amendment against national security. He didn't believe in any of that stuff. First Amendment's the First Amendment. The great Hugo Black, his writings are fascinating. Born in this state in 1886, served on the Supreme Court for 34 years. And maybe my favorite author of all time, John Steinbeck. He's in the top 10. Anyway, John Steinbeck, born in the state in 1902, passed away at the age of 66 back in the 1960s. The Grapes of Wrath is the greatest fiction book I have ever read. It's my favorite. It's phenomenal. I've probably read it a dozen times easily. The first time I ever read The Grapes of Wrath, I read it straight through. I think I went to the bathroom and ate a couple of times, but I read it from cover to cover. East of Eden, Of Mice and Men, Cannery Row, Travels with Charlie, Nobel laureate John Steinbeck, born in the state in 1902. Read The Grapes of Wrath today, or Of Mice and Men. You will not be disappointed. 36 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, everyone is entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion. And then Linda Haglund, the executive director of the Wenatchee Downtown Association, in studio. Their annual appreciation dinner is tomorrow night. All things downtown. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
My name is Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and a lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do their job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
Quality, comfort, style, service. This is the Crown Furniture difference for more than 50 years. Their commitment to you is to provide the best furniture and mattresses the industry has to offer at a great price. Shop Crown Furniture today to experience the difference. And remember, free setup, delivery, and haul-away in their service area is just another way they show they care.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Ready Medi is healthcare made simple and affordable. We are the only direct primary care practice that provides personalized and holistic healthcare in North Central Washington. Our wellness model not only helps prevent heart attacks and strokes, but we also optimize hormones. Affordability is our goal. For example, hip surgery locally is $45,000, whereas our members have the same access for $15,000. Ready Medi, healthcare made simple and affordable.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I don't know what it is, but I've always hated getting dressed up. You know, I remember like I was in 3rd grade or something. My family was going to go get some pictures taken, and my mom laid some clothes out for me, a dress shirt, a tie, and a jacket, and I felt this, just looking at them, this unbidden wash of shame coming over me because I had to wear those clothes. Now, I didn't plan this. I mean, the same shame another kid would feel if he had to dress in rags, which actually I literally would have preferred to wear. But I guess I was lucky to be born at a time when being a hippie was kind of cool, you know, and somewhat accepted in society. Well, part of society anyway. Hey, you can take the boy out of the hippies, but you cannot take the hippie out of the boy. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
We know crunch.
In our experience, some people are just cut out for charter college and for success in a new career. These charter types are hard workers. Charter types go above and beyond. And charter types are responsible. If you're ready to get to work making a better future for yourself, you're just our type. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
43 minutes after the hour on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. When you're alone and life is treating you lonely, you can always go downtown. With apologies to Petula Clark, our good friend making her very first appearance on this program, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Downtown Association, Linda Haglund. You were actually one of my very first guests ever.
Well, you know what? I think this might be my first time this year, maybe.
It might be.
Might be.
It
there
might
we go.
be.
So you weren't that far off.
I think I saw you, in fact, over the holiday season. I think I had you on the show.
You did.
So big night tomorrow night. Your traditional State of the Downtown address.
Kind of.
Yeah. So do they, does the guy come out and say, Mr. Speaker, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Downtown Association, and then you walk through and you shake hands with the Supreme Court?
No.
That doesn't happen.
No, nobody stands up. Well, they do stand up at the end, but not for me, for the award winners. But yeah, when I got this job, 7 years ago, just about.
Wow.
The first thing I remember, Dave Gallatley walked into my office and said, go back to a nighttime dinner and give awards. They mean something. And so every year since then, we've done that. And we don't do auctions or raffles. The price of the dinner is what it cost us to put on the dinner. And thankfully, we do have a sponsor, Dave and Sandy Gallatley, this year that will help us pay for things like awards. But the really fun thing about this year, every year we ask the community to vote for their favorites, their downtown best. So best new business, That's the only one we tell you what business is actually open. Because some people go, oh, I just opened this year. I thought that's been open forever. So, but then best customer service, best window display, best neighbor award is a really fun one. And then the very best of downtown. And then best eating experience or best bite. And we encourage the people to go and vote. We don't give them names. We gave them SurveyMonkey. Amazing this year, the power of social media. And I really think a testimony to people loving their downtown. Over 400 people went on SurveyMonkey.
Oh, good.
Which is big. And the other really big thing is you have to go to the category and type in a name. 197 business names were typed in. Now, some were nominated in multiple categories. That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the first time in history, we have a ton of nominees. Usually we have nominees and we can put them up on the board, but this year I have sheets that we are laminating and putting on the tables. And we tell the story of whoever the winner is, and they don't know. It's a surprise. But it's really fun. My board members, actually my mayor, you might know him, is going to, the mayor and council will be there tomorrow night, and the mayor is actually presenting an award for me, which is the best of downtown. So it's really, really fun. And then we have 3 secret awards at the end that nobody votes on that really are inspirational awards as well. So it is a really fun evening. And here's my promise to those who come. They're out of there before 8. I try for 7:45, but I'm a get it done kind of person. We don't talk a lot. We just honor and celebrate. And it is the one time a year downtown really gets together as a family. And right now our numbers are looking really good. A lot of businesses are represented. So it is really, really a fun
Well, 52 businesses got nominated for Best Neighbor.
Downtown Neighbor.
So that tells me that the business community downtown kind of like each other.
They do. And the other thing that's kind of fun is people look at this differently. So one of my favorite nominees was for Best Eating Experience. And when Firehouse Pet came up, I went. And then in parentheses it said my dog voted. So it's, people really got into this voting. And it really, I believe, means something to the businesses and a testimony that people love these downtown businesses and honor small business. And that's why I think we're thriving. In a world where everybody says to me at least once a week, are you worried about online? And I said, that face-to-face experience you get in walking into a store in downtown, that's something you can't buy online.
You can't eat online, and that to me would be the hardest one, is the best eating experience, because Stones and Lamolos, and whether I want cupcake or Indian food or the Cook's Corner, which makes the best halibut I've ever had in my life.
And I will tell you, what did people say about eating experience? 30.
30.
They put 30 different options to eat. It's amazing.
That is amazing.
And when you start thinking about that, anything from Bob's Classic, like you said, it cooks, and everything in between that serve food now. And what a variety in downtown. It's really fun. And again, it's a fun evening.
Your State of the Downtown speech, can you give it to us in a nutshell?
Well, yeah, one thing I can talk about people voting and talk about this, but I think something notable is that in the last 12 months, we've had 5 businesses in the core. And in the core, we caught that middle part of downtown. 5 buildings changed hands. These are long-standing owned buildings, new owners, new buyers, new ideas, right? That doesn't count Chelan that had Jones & Jones, right? Doesn't count Chelan or Columbia, because there have been buildings change hands down there. This is really 5. In the last 24 months, there have been 10. That's highly unusual. That's a good sign.
That's a good sign, yeah.
Because old buildings aren't easy. Let's just face it. Old buildings aren't easy. Nothing in them is new, right? Yeah. And some of them over 100 years old. And when you go to look at repair and upgrades, that is, you have to be dedicated. There's your understatement for the day. So that's, I think, a really good testimony that people believe in our downtown and that they want to invest in our downtown. That's a really fun statistic.
What has happened to the Morris Building kind of started, and this was a number of years ago, started a really cool movement, downtown urban living, and now you can live in apartments above Cycle Central, and now GPA Embroidery is getting in on that act, aren't they?
There is, and remember, we have about 100,000 unused square feet upstairs downtown. Yeah. So, and some of those spaces, as you and I were talking before we went on air, not easy to get to. GPA Embroidery, the Gavins that own that building, talk about an investment in downtown. They decide they want to live up there. So one of the first things they did that was, oh my gosh, they found the windows. They cut the windows out. Windows, guess what, are still there. Now they're about 100 years old, but they're still there. And so they, a couple of weeks ago, invited their friends and had a nail pulling party. I'm sure there are a lot of old nails up there, right? I mean, just creative, but the upgrades of the apartments above Cycle Central, and then also what the Goodfellows are doing above the old, we called it the Doré building. I think they renamed it the Metropolitan building, but
when you own it, you can call it whatever you want.
Exactly, as long as you renovate it, right?
That's right.
So I think that's really a start of things to come. And as the economy is healthy and as they see value in less and less spaces available, that's the new frontier, is upstairs downtown. So it's really, really fun to see what is starting to happen and what that will stir on development for these new building owners.
Having been upstairs to buildings that aren't accessible to the public, as you mentioned, some of them it's impossible to get to. You have to climb up a fire escape and then up a ladder, or the elevator has been out of service, or they took a stairwell out. But when you get up into these overhead spaces, spaces above the downtown businesses, you can see the potential. But as you mentioned before, you're dealing with a lot of capital investment just to turn that around.
There is, and it's like stepping back in time. I always call it stepping back and forward in time. One of them is O.B. Fuller above Bloomers that Janine owns. And she let us go up there for the Possibilities Tour last year. It was a boarding house, and it's intact. The great rails on the staircases and the moldings and how that design, unmatched. And you can't build that now. You can try to replicate that. There is something historic, but you just step back in time, and all of us went up to that third floor and went, wow. And looking into the future, what could those spaces be, especially in housing? And every week, without fail, people contact me that want to live downtown. They want to live downtown. They want that living experience downtown. And so working with the city on parking restrictions, loosening up those a little bit to allow for some overnight parking permitted, and that's going to help that conversation. But it is a pretty significant investment to make those livable.
Mm-hmm. Living downtown is cool. It also gives you very quick access to the riverfront.
It does.
You're right there.
It does.
Across the bridge and you're there.
It is, and that conversation, that tangible connection to the riverfront. What did Pybus teach us? That people want to use the riverfront. What a shock, right? So Pybus taught us that is the happening place. What are they called now? Where the community gathers, or where we gather.
Where community meets. Yeah.
Where the community meets. So then the hotel going in down there, now we have visitors that are not only visiting there, they'll be staying there. And that tangible connection to the downtown, right across that walking bridge, very easy. People use the train a lot of times as an excuse, but really, you're in proximity to that walking bridge. What a great stroll. And the waterfront, what the PUD has done in the accessibility to that waterfront and the trail. We have something really unique here. Mm-hmm. So that development moving forward is going to be really fun to watch as well.
And it should be pointed out, Burlington Northern Santa Fe is not tied to their downtown office. They are actually considering moving their offices and where they change the trains and the shifts for the engineers come off and on out of the downtown area and out to the Malaga area, so we don't have to worry about the trains blocking the tracks anymore.
Again, not cheap. Again, a significant investment, right, on probably multiple people's part. That's the future, obviously. But I think as we move forward, it is our responsibility, as far as ours, meaning all of us who love and care, to help wayfind a little bit. We don't really make it easy right now. So we have great conversations with the city, which is a great partner with us, is how can we navigate people, if the train is there, how do we make it a little easier to go, not that wall, because that's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. A train is gonna cross those tracks, 30 sometimes a day, right? So how do we make that easier and better sign it? That's all on the docket for this year.
There were many, many times when the Numerica Performing Arts Center would go weeks and weeks with nothing going on, not driving people downtown. That has changed under the leadership of Matt Cadman and the board of directors, and now something is going on at Numerica all the time at the PAC, which drives people downtown, which drives them to shop and drives them to eat. What's going on with the Numerica Performing Arts Center has got to make you feel pretty darn good.
Well, it is, and I think what happens then is you see restaurants then seeing the value in staying open a little longer. The addition this year of Norwood gives us one more evening option. Somebody came to me I was at the Sportsman Show last weekend, and somebody came up and said, I was in downtown last Friday. Now granted, it was that little thing called Rails and Ales, right, which brought a ton of people downtown. I was driving down Friday night into downtown. It was alive and vibrant in a February. And that's so cool. And there were people parked and people laughing and people walking. That's really our community. It's really the heart of our community. And those events that happen and it spurs new experiences, Performing Arts Center is a great example of give people a reason to come down for dinner before and after, and let's stay open maybe a little bit later to let people eat after the show. So those are, you're right, one spurs another, which I think is probably why we have such amazing support. It's really unusual in my Main Street world to have the synergies that we do here. So not only our amazing relationship with the city, the fact that the mayor and the entire council are coming to our dinner tomorrow night is a huge statement to not only the downtown businesses that there's support from our local government, but the fact that they want to be there. But also our relationship with the Chamber of Commerce, very unusual. Usually chambers and downtowns associations have a tendency throughout the state to not be as cooperative.
Okay.
But our chamber, we went in, Shiloh and I, recognizing they work together. Small business is business, but small business needs all the help they can get. So we collaborate. So we do a lot of things. Girls Night Out is coming. We get to utilize them as a starting location for Girls Night Out. We can talk about that later. That's April. But we find those ways to partner with the PAC, with the museum, with the chamber, with the Humane Society. We believe in this community that all these nonprofits should be working together for the good of the community and for the strength of all of our organizations.
Big shout out to Dave and Sandy Galatly, by the way.
Yeah.
He's back after 6 weeks in Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh, are we tearing up about
Dave.
that? No.
But Dave and Sandy are underwriting this whole thing tomorrow night, and they are 2 of my favorite people in the Wenatchee area.
They are, and again, what it costs to come to our thing just pays for the dinner. And then because we have a sponsor, the awards, the really fun things that we can do, even printing those invitations. So, we don't need to go in the hole in this one. We recognized a long time ago, somebody said to me once, please don't have a dinner. Ask me to donate something and then make me feel guilty if I don't buy it back. So just have a dinner. So that a business actually said that to me. So we don't have anything other than a dinner and celebrate together and have a meal together as a downtown family. It's a pretty special evening.
Is it not too late to get signed up? It's tomorrow night.
It is tomorrow night. The convention center is very gracious to us because they know this community is a little bit last minute. So if you really want to come, we'll figure out how to get you in, I promise. But if you just get a hold of our office, 509-662-0059, or message us on Facebook, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, or Meredith at WenatcheeDowntown.org.
My girl.
Next big event downtown is going to be Girls Night Out?
It is Girls Night Out. Girls Night Out in April. We're going to do something, and I can't announce it. I'll have to come back, so you'll have me back. Something new and different this year that's going to add a little bit of spice to Girls Night Out. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not adverse to change. I'm a big fan of change, and I love the fact Dave deserves a nice, friendly, goofy, fun retirement, and the fact that he has decided to pass along his downtown heritage to these younger buyers who are going to take over these historic, wonderful buildings, 100 years old, 120-year-old buildings, and keep them alive and renovate them and keep downtown hopping. Makes me feel good.
Well, and a quick story about that. The building my office is in is the Fuller Quig.
Yep.
It has connections to Dave's family for over 100 years. Think about that. It's like the Mills Brothers family. They kept their building. Dave recognized that he and Sandy want to retire and spend 6 more weeks in Hawaii. So they passed that on to the future. And that building closed last year and sold. And the first new thing really in that building is a hair salon. Opened 2 weeks ago. It's tousled. They moved from another location down on 5th Street, and now they are in that building. New faces, new exposure to these great old buildings. We still have a boiler in the basement. It's heated the same way, and people walk into that building now every day and go, "This is the coolest building."
Have fun tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Everybody have a fun Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Wait for the one.